Exchange or PITX. Rodel and his fellow construction worker again tried to go to work this morning. He said that yesterday he couldn't find a ride, so he went home instead.
Kung hindi po ako makapunta doon, uuwi na lang po ako. Kung may magandang loob naman magpasakay po, papunta doon, sasakay na lang po kami. Nagre-request po kami ng shuttle service sa maghahatid ng mga tao, pero hindi sila nagbigay po.
For some, walking towards the metro is better than waiting. Just like Elmer, an electrician in Pasig City who already walked to work yesterday.
Masakit sa paa pagka malayo nilakad mo eh. Yun, nakapagod naman. Pagdating sa trabaho, pawis ka na. Nakapalit ka na lang. Kaso, nakapagod pa rin kasi doble yung pagod mo. Imbis nakapagpahinga ka sa trabaho, sa nilakad mo, napagod ka rin. Wala.
Elmer said that to avoid further delays, he keeps with him his quarantine and travel pass. Tatay Ladislao has been doing the same thing for 2 weeks already.
Meron naman doon, pagpapasok sa mga eskwelahan, meron bus, minibus. Kaso pag dito, mula sa amin hanggang doon, lakad-lakad kami. Mahirap.
Kaso?
Meanwhile, in a mall in Barangay Molino 4, as early as 5 in the morning, point-to-point buses are already taking in passengers bound for Alabang, Muntinlupa, and Makati. For News 5, Justine Punsalang. We are One News.
Public buses are still suspended during the first phase of the GCQ. This leaves limited options for employees to get to work. And if you don't want to walk all the way to the office, the next best option could be bicycles. Let's get more on this from Greg Gregorio. He's reporting to us live from Quezon City. Good morning, Greg. Do you see a lot of people using bikes to get to work there?
Yes, Charles, a lot of commuters are now turning to bicycles to use or to get to their destinations, as few options are available under the general community quarantine. But the problem is they're competing against cars, buses, and trucks on the metro's major thoroughfare. A group called Bikers United Marshals has been placing plastic bottles in some parts of Commonwealth Avenue to designate a bike lane. But the MMDA removed them earlier, saying that this uncoordinated method is unsafe and an obstruction to traffic. According to Bikers United Marshals, they used 70 pieces of 6 to 8 liters of plastic bottles to mark a bike lane on the westbound stretch of Commonwealth Avenue from across St. Peter's Parish to Don Antonio. Group spokesperson Gian explained that it is their way to protect bikers from rushing motor vehicles. Based on their estimate, bikers along Commonwealth Avenue alone have increased to 20 bikers every minute, or 2,400 to 2,500 in just 2 hours from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., which is considered rush hour. But before 8 a.m., the MMDA swept in and removed the bottles. According to MMDA spokesperson Celine Pialago, while bicycles are allowed along Commonwealth Avenue, the group needs to understand that they cannot just put anything on the road because this might cause accidents for bikers and motorists alike. Pialago highlighted that while there is no designated bike lane along Commonwealth Avenue, bikers can always maximize the sidewalk that are wide enough for both pedestrians and bikers. The Bikers United Marshals and the MMDA had a short dialogue earlier. They're expected to have a formal meeting to work on an acceptable solution on this matter. Charles, it's the third day of the GCQ implementation in the National Capital Region, and it also happens to be the World Bicycle Day. The government encourages pedal power as a means of travel for our people. But they are reminding, though, the bikers to be safe on the road. They're also saying that they've been talking about protecting bikers on the road, not just during this quarantine period, but also in what will soon become the new normal. Charles?
All right, thanks for that, Greg. You be safe as well. That was Greg Gregorio reporting live from Quezon City. The House approves the Antiterrorism bill on second reading on Tuesday night. House Bill 6875 gives more teeth to the law against terrorism. Muntinlupa Representative Rufi Biazon said the existing Human Security Act makes it difficult for law enforcers to go after terrorists. Congressmen actually adopted the version already approved by their colleagues in the upper chamber, third and final reading back in February, to do away with the bycam. President Rodrigo Duterte certified the bill as urgent at the start of the month. The United States welcomes President Duterte's decision to suspend the termination of the Visiting Forces Agreement. The American Embassy in the Philippines says Washington is looking forward to continuing close security and defense cooperation with Manila. The Defense Department also supports the Chief Executive's move. The DND says it's ready to continue working closely with its American allies to find solutions to common concerns such as the global health crisis. On Tuesday, Foreign Affairs Chief Teddy Boy Locsin sent a diplomatic note to the American ambassador, informing him of the president's order. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Stay with us here on One News. Good morning, I'm Charles Lejano. You're still watching One News Now. Trips going to the island city of Samal have resumed, but if you're planning to go there as a tourist, sorry to say that just isn't possible. Jem Avancena is reporting live from Davao City to give us more details. Jem, if tourists can't go to the island, then who can? Is this just for essential travel?
Charles, barge operations from Sa Wharf here in Davao City going to Island Garden City of Samal in Davao del Norte have also resumed this week. But the trips are exclusively for those cargos and stranded residents, and also for those who are exempted workers. They are the ones only allowed to enter the island. And as we can see here at the entrance of Sa Wharf, authorities are checking each individuals and vehicles before they board the boat. According to Igacos Mayor Al David Uy, they are now implementing a QR code ID system for residents to avoid delays at checkpoints. That's because leisure trips to Samal are still prohibited. But Uy said they're hoping the tourist destinations in their island could open their doors to visitors by July. More than 100 beach resorts and island hopping tour operators on the island have been affected by the pandemic, but the local government says they have provided affected employees with financial assistance and food packs. They will also give discounts on the business renewal fees of affected establishments, on top of waiving other charges. The liquor ban is already lifted, but drinking in public places such as restaurants and bars is still not allowed. Charles, since May 29, numbers of COVID-19 cases in Island Garden City of Samal have remained 4. 2 of them died, while 1 of them was able to recover. Charles?
All right, Jem, based on what you've seen, what safety measures are being observed for those traveling to Samal?
As we can see, Charles, here in Sa Wharf, the authorities are already checking their temperature. They are implementing health protocols. And on top of that, when they arrive at the entry point of Samal, they have to undergo health screening protocols there also. Charles?
All right, Jem, just to clarify, will people traveling to Samal be required to secure a travel authority?
Charles, as long as they have a health certificate indicating that they are not COVID-19 PUM nor PUI, they are allowed to enter the island. And of course, they have to present also a valid ID indicating that they are really residents of Island Garden City of Samal.
All right, thanks for that, Jem. That was Jem Avancena reporting live from Davao. The country's 2 major airlines have announced flight schedules to certain local destinations for the coming month. Philippine Airlines said some schedules were adjusted following the cancellation of a few flights due to, quote, fine-tuning of of local government entry restrictions and requirements. Recall that the Civil Aeronautics Board reminded airlines to secure clearance from LGUs and IATF before mounting flights to specific destinations. Starting Friday, flights between Manila and Cebu will be available daily. By Monday next week or June 8, PAL will mount flights from Dumaguete, Tacloban, Cagayan de Oro, Davao, Lawag, Bacolod, and Iloilo. Flights to and from Butuan, Cotabato, Dipolog, Jensan, Ozamis, Padian, and Zamboanga will be available beginning June 8. And for those traveling between Cebu and Davao, flights will be available starting June 9. Meanwhile, effective June 11, round-trip flights from Manila to Puerto Princesa will also be available. And starting June 15, PAL will be flying to Calibo, Caticlan, Rojas, Busuanga Island in Coron, Legazpi, and Basco, Batanes. No flights are available to and from Tagbilaran City, but PAL said they will announce schedules once these become available. The flag carrier is also reminding passengers that leisure travel is not allowed, as well as those with health issues, those below 21 years old, and those above 60 years old. Meanwhile, Cebu Pacific and Cebgo also announced that they will mount flights to a few destinations starting tomorrow, June 3. Flights to Jensan, Naga, and Cagayan de Oro will be available. The schedules are flashed on your screens. Cebu Pacific is also reminding their passengers that leisure travel is not allowed, and flights are primarily for stranded passengers, returning OFWs, and essential workers. For more updates, follow News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. I'm Charles Lejano. We are One News.